Chapter 4 of Baby Moll by Lee Farris. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 4. Macy Barr's home was on a small island, 30 miles south of Castile. The island was about 300 yards from shore, accessible by an old causeway barely wide enough for one car. At the island end of the causeway was a small house of weathered coquina, and an 8-foot gate consisting of heavy fence wire woven inside an iron frame. I hit the horn and turned off the headlights as Rudy instructed. A big spotlight on the building brightened the inside of the rented automobile. A man carrying a submachine gun came out of the gatehouse and opened the gate. I drove through, followed a winding drive up an incline to the house, and parked near a large garage. Rudy was nursing his head with an ice pack and didn't say anything. We unloaded charred suitcases and went inside. It was a nice house, 2 floors and various levels, a cross between modern and Mediterranean, built to take advantage of every stray breeze. We left the luggage in the spacious foyer, and Rudy, after looking at his watch, showed me to Macy Barr's room. The effort of every step marked his face. Macy wore an old faded bathrobe over a heavy frame that had gone to fat. He needed a haircut and a shave. He sat in an old armchair as shabby as he was and watched me with soft burning eyes. Then he looked at Rudy leaning against a wall behind me. "What happened to you?" he said. Every breath he took made a faint husking noise in his throat. "We were bushwhacked outside of Port Wentworth," I said. 2 or maybe 3 in on it. 1 to phone ahead. They used a shotgun and then they used a rifle. The Pontiac cracked up and fire gutted it. Rudy hauled a carbine from under the dash and ran them off. The Wentworth cops let us go when they checked the registration. They told us to keep our family fights down south so their citizens don't get hurt. Macy cleared his throat thoughtfully. His eyes burned like dying coals. There were ugly smears of darkened skin under the eyes. "You hurt?" He meant both of us. "I lost some skin when I went out of the car. Contusions everywhere. Rudy got burned some, pulled a muscle in his leg. We were lucky." "Nerves shot to hell," Rudy said through his teeth. "Who were they?" Macy sat stiffly in the chair, not moving a finger. "I don't know. Neither does Rudy. I got a look at one of them, the lad with the rifle. A chunky bastard wearing a sky-blue hat. I'll know him again when I see him." Macy moved then, looking at his thumbs. His lips folded together loosely, pinched down at the corners. His chest heaved a couple of times beneath the old robe. I wondered why he still wore the thing. They were putting better material in sugar sacks these days. I heard Rudy coughing delicately, as if every cough cost him pain. "You go on to bed," Macy told Rudy. "Better get a hot bath." Rudy went out. "You want a drink, Pete?" "God, yes." He waved me to a small bar. I chose a bottle. "Give me some whiskey," he said. "What do you want in it?" I said. "I don't want nothing in it," he said peevishly. I gave him some whiskey. He held it as somebody else might hold a rare flower. He drank it slowly. In between sips I could hear the breath in his throat. I mixed one for myself. There wasn't any ice, so I did without. I sat on his bed and looked at him sullenly. "I'm glad you're back, Pete," he said. I didn't say a word. "Sorry you ran into trouble on the way down." "Maybe you got some idea who planned it?" I said. "No, I ain't had any trouble like that." He tapped his long fingernails against the glass. It was good crystal that must have cost $200 for the set. Tapping it produced a clear, lingering sound. "So you're not happy," he said. "I can't help it." "Let me tell you how happy I am," I said, getting up. 6 years ago, I walked out on you because I was sick of you and your whole rotten business. I tried to forget you. I met a nice girl who didn't know what a fix was, who didn't know men were murdered every day in this country because guys like you can pull strings. I love her as I've never loved anybody before. I used the money you paid me because I earned that money, and I built a little business and bought a home against the day I'd be married, and tried to behave like a normal, everyday kind of guy. It was hard because at first I was acting. Then I began to feel that it was coming out all right, that the old life hadn't scarred me too deep. I paused for breath. I didn't take my eyes off him. The muscles of my jaw were tight. I was beginning to feel happy. You know what that is, to be happy? To me it meant those little things like spending a lazy day on some shady canal with a fishing rod or chinning with the customers in my store for hours on end. These things gave me a satisfaction I had never known before. When things go right for you, it's like nothing ever was wrong or ever can be. Then Rudy showed up, and all the good things fell apart. I had to come back with him. You had it fixed, so I'd have no choice. You knew any other way I would have told you to cram it. You knew a beating wouldn't have changed my mind. So you took the filthiest hook you could find to bring me back. Why don't you sit down? He said warily. I'm not quite through. I come back, and what do I find? Not Macy, not the old Macy. You used to be a pretty hard guy. You used to be as tough as any of the thugs you had working under you. There wasn't any one of them could make you back down. Now you're fat and out of shape, and you sit in that chair feeling sorry for yourself when you should be back in town running things as if you meant it. A little fire colored his cheeks. You think I'm soft? I can take care of you any day, big shot. I give away a lot of years, but I can handle you and anybody else. Get out of that chair and prove it. He started to get up, then his expression became thoughtful and a little sheepish, and he slumped back. What the hell are we talking about? He said. We a couple of kids that we gotta show how goddamn tough we are. Sit down, you bastard. I knew you when you were in grammar school. Don't try to impress me. I said sit down. I sat on the edge of the bed, holding the glass tightly. You gonna do a job for me, or you gonna sit around and pout? I'm gonna do a job, I said, because I can't do anything else. I don't care what your goddamn reasons are, he snapped. Then more calmly, he said, All right, we work on that basis. You don't like it, but you do it, because Macy says you do it. So, naturally, you don't like Macy. But I don't want nothing half-ass. You'll get your dollar's worth, I said. I always did with you, Macy said grudgingly. Okay, Rudy tell you what I want. Put up that damn glass before you bust it. I put up the glass. He was still giving orders with every breath, but they didn't have the old cocksure ring of authority. You've been getting letters with the same message, I said. Somebody's sore at you for burning out a tailor shop 25 years ago and killing a few people. He's getting even by hunting down your old gang and knifing them. You're on the list, but he's saving you until you've had time to think about it. Macy nodded morosely. There's an envelope in the middle drawer of that desk over there. Get it, will you, Pete? The envelope contained all the clippings Macy had received. I read one of them about the fire. The tailor's name was Kennedy. He had a wife and 2 children. Nobody knew how the fire started. One of the children somehow survived, was in the hospital with serious burns. The child's name wasn't given. Macy told me to keep the envelope. What happened to the other kid? I asked him. He seemed indifferent. I don't know. I haven't looked into this thing. That's your job. You worry about anything at all these days? I said bitingly. He looked at me with a flash of anger in his eyes, but didn't speak. What chance that Stan Maxine's behind this? I said. No chance. He wouldn't be so cute. Stan don't know how to be subtle like. It ain't his way of doing things. I hear he's got fat and happy lately. You should have killed him a dozen years ago. I should have killed him. I never killed anybody in my life, not counting the war, but if I had to choose somebody, it would be Maxine. Macy smiled slightly. You ain't changed so much, he said in a low, thick voice. You're older, but your face don't show it. You got a girl now. I nodded. He looked up at me eagerly. A real beauty? I know she must be. I bet she's a smart one, too. Knows how to talk, and things like that. She knows about you? No, I never told her. I cut it short. What about Maxine? Maxine? Why don't you stand up to him now, before he gets too hard to handle? Boot his tail back to where it belongs. I'm afraid to try, he said, watching me almost ashamedly. I'm afraid to find out I'm not strong enough anymore. Sometimes it's better just to hang on, Pete. He got up then and went to the window. One of his pockets was bulky with a gun. He pulled the blinds open and looked out at the moon shining on the dark sea. I'll be working alone, I said. I'll need a car. He nodded. How many men have you got around? 3. Rudy and 2 other boys. Revis and Taggart. Top guns. Taggart's not around right now. I sent him to Tampa yesterday. He should pull in before long. Not enough to carry your coffin. His shoulders flexed. Nobody's going to kill me, Pete. Not while I'm here. Your room's in the west wing, just off the patio. if you want to go on to bed." He spoke tiredly, dismissing me. I picked up the envelope with the newspaper clippings and went downstairs. End of chapter 4.